It's that time again for You Ain't Black.
You ain't black.
And you ain't black.
Oh, no.
Okay, so
Deserve.
man, there's so much to talk about today. We got Trump removing the 230 protections.
Let's
will
get
it be
it.
or will it not be? You had an encounter with your little racist security guard, the mask guard, and then we got to discuss
The mask, please.
Yeah. Right.
The mask police.
Goodness
Yeah, we
gracious.
got to discuss the elephant that's in the room here about a friend of mine literally said, how did you put this, Cody? That things have never started looking better for Trump's legal response. What was that? What was the terminology you
Let's
used?
go.
Oh, this is the first time and probably since the election where there seems to be some potential rulings where Pennsylvania, one of the big states, something could move in. I think you have an article there from Just the News that kind of explains it a bit, but this is the first time, because I still maintain, they're going to find whatever they need for Biden. They'll do it. But this is the first time in a while it's looked like maybe something's there for all these legal proceedings they have been doing.
I mean, and this is crazy. So I'm just going to show you guys, and we'll dive right in here because I don't like just talking like, oh, did you hear that? You know what I'm saying? I'm actually going to pull up two articles here, okay, so people can understand what we're going for. First off, if you go to Revolver, they've got supposedly the definitive case proving Donald Trump won the election. And when you click on it, it goes to an analysis with a full executive summary and everything of all of the data that they have pulled together, which leads to this article. And we're gonna backtrack on all of these, showing that a Pennsylvania judge, and this is from Just the News too. It's not like these people are a bunch of like Breitbart plaintiffs or something. I'm apologists, not plaintiffs. It says Pennsylvania judge says plaintiffs have viable claim that state mail-in ballot rule was illegal.
No kidding.
Yeah.
I mean, they're looking, correct me if I'm wrong, tell me if I'm wrong on this, Cody, but true or not true, it's looking like they actually have a chance of flipping this over to the Supreme Court. Am I misinterpreting this, Cody?
It should explain more in the article, honestly.
Oh, God.
I think it's definitely I think it's definitely going to go to the Supreme Court.
Oh, yeah.
Well, let's see what it says right here really
ready.
fast. It says a state judge in Pennsylvania is upholding her earlier injunction against the state certification of the 2020 election results. And that is huge. I mean, that's huge.
That is huge.
Yeah, stating that a lawsuit alleging the unconstitutionality of a state ballot rule is, quote, likely to succeed on its own merits. I mean, that's pretty massive.
I'm loving it. I mean, first of all, I never liked the whole idea of the mail-in ballots anyway.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We all know when they first instituted and when they first brought it up, I was like, okay, this is just going to go horribly wrong. This is going to go terribly. And look what happened. All across, it's just it's so arbitrary. It's so I'm not a fan.
Not only that, mail-in ballots are not supposed to be unsolicited. Like, you're supposed to request a mail-in ballot.
Right.
Yep. You had several states just mailing out ballots to
giving them out willy-nilly.
Any and everybody.
Well, look, this Judge McCullough just happens to agree with you because, look, it says in the ruling Friday night, Judge Patricia McCullough stipulated that her earlier temporary injunction to get the state's election certification was valid and should be enforced, saying that this went against specifically, not just, this doesn't feel right to me. She says the went against specifically Pennsylvania Legislature's Act 77 that, quote, contravened the requirements of Pennsylvania's Constitution. The act the petitioners claimed in a, quote, attempt by the legislature to fundamentally overhaul the Pennsylvania voting system and permit, this is crazy, and permit universal, no excuse mail-in voting absent any constitutional authority.
Ooh, I like that.
I mean, that is hardcore right there, dude.
Ooh,
that is.
Yeah.
So what's that all mean here? Let's dive right back in. By the way, tell me if I'm boring you guys. I apologize. But if we go back now to this whole case, they're combining this with reports coming out of this is everything that Sidney Powell and Trump's team, they're all, they're all sharing all this information. But these are the most damning pieces of evidence they have. Not proof, but evidence. The four major questions are here. That an update in Michigan listed as of 6:31 a.m. Eastern Time on November 4th, 2020, showed 141,258 votes for Joe Biden and about 6,000 for Donald Trump.
No.
Can you do the math on that?
Oh, dude, I already did.
You know what I'm saying?
In the pre-show, I did the math. That's a 23-1
Boom
ratio between votes for Trump and votes for Joe Biden.
Wow.
And I mean, 23-1, you can't get that out of West Hollywood.
Come on
Yeah,
now.
exactly.
You know what
Right.
I'm
Thank
saying?
you.
This ain't no liberal California. This ain't no liberal New York.
And
This
see,
is Michigan.
and that's the main thing right there, because throughout this whole process, right, the media is keeping the narrative that the Trump administration is alleging this voter fraud without any evidence.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's the part that they're missing right there.
Yeah.
In any jurisdiction, that is the evidence.
There
right?
you
So
go.
you have to wait to prove, okay, does this evidence prove this way or that way?
Right,
It's
right.
just like if you happen upon like a murder scene and you're going to actually like get an arrest warrant for somebody. The evidence is the bloody knife, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So
I'm gonna need you to
we
preach.
got to wait to decide if a jury and a judge is going to decide, is this knife with this person? Was this the murder weapon or not?
And you wouldn't
But
see
that's
the
the
police.
evidence.
You wouldn't see the police saying, or people saying, oh, that's conspiratorial.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? No, I'm looking at the evidence.
Why ignore the evidence?
Right.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? And that's why I can't stand about everything. It's you're a conspiracy theorist, you're a conspiracy theorist.
No, the
just
evidence
because
is
we're
there.
looking at the evidence.
Yeah, the evidence is there.
No, you're a conspiracy theorist because you critically think. That's
Oh,
why.
yeah, how dare
You're
you?
a critical thinker.
Yeah,
you
you're
don't
not
listen
supposed
to
to do
narratives.
that.
Dude, this gets deeper, guys. I mean,
So-
we're diving into the numbers, and look at this. They had a second claim. The 143,379 votes went for Joe Biden at 3:42 a.m. the next day, right? With only 25,000 going for Donald Trump. Okay, so instead of being 23-1, that's like 18-1 or so. And then finally, in Georgia, they had the exact same problem of 136,000 and change to 30,000. You know, and the thing that's freaky about this is you can't add up 3 districts in the bluest state of
Right.
the union
Right.
Yeah.
and find
Exactly.
those kind of
These
numbers.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, that is
it just
literally
doesn't
functionally
add up.
impossible.
It doesn't add up.
It doesn't add up at all.
You know, this is worse than like the bowl system in college
football, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't do sports analogies really, really well because I don't follow sports like Cody does. You know what I'm saying? But like, I just know that there's always some team that gets wildly screwed
Right.
in the bowl system,
Right.
and it's always
Yeah.
due to like crony insider voting and crap. You know what I'm saying?
It happens all the time.
Like, this has much more farther-reaching implications than, let me see, what does it say here? The 42 electoral votes. Another reason why this has huge implications is because now we are completely calling into question the whole argument of the popular vote. Because, I mean, if you're going to pad the numbers and say, well, Hillary Clinton won by 4 million votes anyway.
Right.
From the
Gosh,
popular
if-
vote, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
if they're
Right, the
able to
popular
throw
vote.
in 150,000 votes for Joe Biden that almost went completely unnoticed, how are they not going to throw in 500,000
You got
in
it.
LA City?
That's what I'm saying.
Where
And
like,
all
you know,
I get your
Republicans
point.
don't even bother trying to see if,
Right.
because we know the Electoral College is just going to go to the Democrats for California.
Right.
So why bother showing up and voting? Well, now I'm wondering, are they just padding?
I actually had a Republican friend tell me that he supports Donald Trump, but he told me that he didn't vote this year because California is so Democrat and blue anyway that his vote isn't going to make a difference.
and that's why also I
A
always
lot of people
say,
feel that
So
way.
what if California knew that? And California, like how you said, what if
see?
they
Well,
had
think of it this way. is
because
that
they called California
That's
right
what I was
at
about to say,
8:01
Automatic.
p.m.
Automatic.
Yeah, right.
when the
automatic.
voting polls was open until 8 p.m.
Exactly.
And LA County is still counting.
Exactly.
See?
How does that
So
work?
how did they even
How
call
does that
it?
work? Now I knew California was gonna always go blue because they always do go blue. But the actual chance of it being called right after, literally within minutes,
Like,
and then we
on
still
the
got
minute.
counting going on, and it's
Yeah.
like I don't need the facts at that point. I'm looking at it, I'm like, okay, this is wrong.
Well, and this is
screwed.
another
Yeah.
reason, dude, why I always tell people whenever they want to give me the argument of, oh, we got to get rid of the Electoral College because not
idiots.
everybody's represented.
Idiots.
Right.
I'm
Idiots.
like, dude, if you want to talk about unleashing a Kraken with Sidney Powell, if you told all of the blue state conservatives in upstate New York, Vermont, New Hampshire, California, and these places that are so entrenched in their blueness that still have millions of conservatives, that all of a sudden your vote matters, they would unleash a barrage of Republicans and not gain any red state Democrats. Because let me tell you, all the Democrats in
Probably,
Texas
yeah.
are like, oh, we're going to take this thing blue and we're going to
Yeah,
go. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Meanwhile, you have a bazillion super disheartened Republicans in blue states
Yeah.
that don't show up to vote. If they went straight popular vote only, I'm against that because that's mobocracy.
I am too.
But if they did, it would be a mob of my friends, not yours.
Going to the polls. Huh?
Same thing like with democracy, like the saying two sheeps voting on what's for dinner. You know what I mean? Like we're a republic. We're a constitutional republic. That's why we have the electoral vote. Right. The electoral vote is what the checks and balances are. If you, like you said, popular vote, it's going to be New York and L.A. and California that's dictating the elections. And to be honest with you, I'm in L.A., California myself, and half of these people are idiots. I don't want them dictating the country.
Me neither.
I want people that are actually in the rural too, that actually hunt, that actually trail, that actually have cattle or actually know how to live off the land,
but because
they have different perspectives.
Exactly.
And then we have a full-on perspective, and it's checks and balances.
And
the
that's
forefathers
what's
thought of this
scary.
before.
So,
and I'm so glad the forefathers thought of that.
Does it mean that big cities just attract stupidity? Why is it that the biggest cities, literally New York, LA, and Chicago, are so blue? But I mean, New York voted for AOC.
Right.
Just think about that.
Yeah, she's openly socialist.
Yeah, but she called it. She said a very wise thing.
What did you say?
This may be weird to
wise
say.
And AOC. That's an oxymoron.
Yeah. Get into it, please. I want to know.
Yeah.
Well, she said something very smart. She said, people in my district voted for me as a vote to survive.
Survive.
A vote to survive. She says they vote to survive for who they think is going to help me survive. And
I
she
can see where you're going with this.
Yeah, she used that word, which I think was actually very smart and astute of her, because she presented herself as that guy out there cares more about his Washington career than you. And I care about your survival because I'm one of you. And left, right, or center, any candidate that can present themselves as that.
Caring about somebody's survival and actually being able to implement a strategic plan that makes sense and that's rational is two different things.
She won re-election, dog.
I mean, we're not talking about a Mother Teresa or somebody
Did she really win re-election? Was she contested though?
Yeah.
She was contested by that woman
contested.
that was she was a really pretty anchor on
a black
CNN.
guy was running against her too.
Oh, no kidding.
That black dude in Harlem.
No, yeah, I know
right?
what you're talking about.
I believe she easily won by 30-40% though. I mean,
it was
contested in
absurd.
a lot of quotation marks for what the results showed.
Okay.
Yeah,
Which is scary though, that people vote for her just because they like her talking piece.
Right.
Like they like.
Yeah, it's like we talked about before, identity.
But I feel like that she sugarcoats her leftist communism agenda with this. Oh, I care for you. I care for the bartenders, and I care for. No, you don't. You don't even know what you're doing.
That's what every socialist and communist said. That's every single one. I'm here for the common people.
Literally,
I'm here for you. I'm here for the working class. That's exactly
it
a talking
good.
point.
It's all euphemistic. You know what I'm saying? All the language is euphemistic, and that's what I can't stand. With same thing with Black Lives Matter. It sounds good. Black Lives Matter. Oh, yes, of course Black Lives Matter.
Yeah.
But they don't understand what they're really saying is what's going on underneath the name. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's what people like AOC bank on, is the fact that it sounds good. It sounds pretty.
Dude, so what do you guys think of all this data, man?
Well,
I mean, is it looking good for Trump? Do you think he'll pull it
So
off?
far-
Do you think he'll still get stolen? What do you think?
So far, I mean, she did say she's going to release the Kraken, and I mean, so far the evidence is showing that it looks pretty damning.
Right.
And we're going to wait for the next couple of weeks to see
but
what's
who's
going
paying
on.
Cindy
You have to
Powell?
look at this
Cindy
like a
Powell
chess
chick I don't
game.
get.
Right. You have to look at this like a chess game. And it's not over yet. You still got a few more major pieces on the board and a few more major moves that can shift the entire game.
Right.
So far, it's shifting. Right. So far.
Yeah, and speaking of shifts, this is the last thing that I'll show you. This is the graph of the vote count.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Look
Thank you for
at
showing
that
that.
graph.
Yeah, the fraud shirt.
Oh my goodness.
Literally, it is going neck and neck with Donald Trump just ahead by whatever slim margin.
Look at
and
the
then there's
stop.
that bump. Whoop. Am I supposed to believe that first bump and then boop?
Not at all.
So that bump right there,
And literally,
for the people
and now
that,
he barely edged him out.
Right.
So for the viewers that actually see this, the graph where Biden moves straight up. Remember that was election night where everybody said we're going to call it for the night.
Stop counting.
Everybody relax. We don't know yet, but we'll see in the morning.
And it's a vertical spike.
And then at night, that happens. That graph happens right there. And then remember the next morning, Trump was leading in 4 out of the 5 key states. And then you wake up the next morning, now Biden is winning out of the 4 out of the 5 key states, which another clip was on Instagram, and I shared it, showing the exact same thing where as CNN, I think CNN was going over the numbers and showing how the numbers went, you literally see the numbers flip.
Yes.
Where it was Trump was up by 1 million votes or whatnot. I mean, 20,000 votes or something like that. And next thing you know, it flips. It says 123 or something. And then it falls away. and it comes back, and then all of a sudden Biden was up with someone, whatever. And I'm looking at it, and people actually broke it down. It was actually the exact same number.
Exactly.
19,998 votes. Literally went from one side
You
to
all
another.
know what else is interesting? Candace Owens just brought up a point where she was saying even literally months ago, even the Democrats, even Joe Biden, Nancy Pelosi, Hillary Clinton were all saying that when you go to sleep on November 3rd, it's more than likely that you won't know the results of the election.
That's
this could
true.
take
They were
weeks,
peddling that.
even a month. They said that, but now all of a sudden that it is taking weeks and we're
look
going
at
through the
this
process. They're like, just
information.
accept it.
Yeah, just accept it. Just accept it.
accept it.
Conspiracy theorists.
I mean, you guys have to look at these graphs. I'm going to show you the 3 graphs of the 3 states, and you can't tell me this doesn't look like cheating.
Yeah.
So here is Michigan, and you can see right here the red line is Donald Trump, and he goes up all the way here until Biden spikes right there in the middle. All right. Now look at Wisconsin.
See?
Look at Wisconsin.
Wow.
They're neck
Wisconsin
and
is a spike, too.
neck and neck until what happens?
He starts breaking away. He
All
starts
of a
breaking
sudden,
away.
Boom. Biden spikes. And look, there's a tiny minor spike for Donald Trump too, but then they're neck and neck and neck and neck and neck until it
Until
only
Biden
spikes
edges
for
him.
Biden. It only ever
Every single
spikes
state.
for
It's
Biden.
so crazy.
Every single
and
state.
It's at the same time.
Every single swing.
That's what I'm
It's the
saying. It was
exact
that
same
night.
time.
It was that night, the November 3rd, or that night when they all said we're all going to bed.
Where
And
they
literally
said,
the
"Wait
next
a minute.
morning, I see
Thank you.
4 to 5 flip to Biden. I'm like, that's in
It's
no
like,
way
they
can.
literally
And that's why I
hit
was
a
trying
timeout.
I was trying to explain to people. I was like, you have to be very intellectually dishonest if you're going to sit there and say
Literally.
that a spike like that, all of a sudden, in the dead of night, after they close down for the night, which doesn't
Literally.
happen,
Yeah.
all of a sudden the spike
That
increases incrementally for one candidate, and you're trying
Yeah.
to tell me that there's nothing even to look at, that we shouldn't
Well,
even
and the other thing
investigate?
is, if we have criminals that you
acceptable.
guys
That's
have
unacceptable.
supposedly caught that are capable of designing algorithms that take 1/10 of 1 cent out of every business transaction in like Bank of America and put it into some slush fund in the Cayman Islands so that after like a year it's like 150 million and the guy goes and retires with all this stolen money that nobody ever figured out until like 3 years later in an audit. If they've got dudes that can do that, how are they not doing that when they're
That's
trying to
what
steal
I'm
elections?
That's what I'm saying. What makes you think like who all is in collusion with this?
Right.
Like, how
far does
deep
it
does
deep?
this go?
Yeah.
It's international. It goes as deep as international, globally.
Of course.
Absolutely.
Okay, so anyway, let's jump to another topic. What do you guys think about this whole Trump saber rattling, saying he's going to get rid of the whole 230 platform?
I love it. I
The
love
perception
it
from
because
social media.
because I
It's
kept
about
saying
time.
Yeah, it's about that
because
on
I kept
time.
saying when
Yep.
he went with AG Barr and pretty much gave the social media giants a slap on the wrist, I was so disappointed. This isn't no cult. I'm going to let you know what he does or does not do that I don't like.
Right.
That is the number one thing, because if social media can censor the president of the United States and he knows his base is being censored, right? Then we need action. Period.
Yeah.
Period. And then when he finally went up there and AG Barr slapped him on the wrist saying, "Here's section 230, don't do it." I was like, "Oh, come on now. You guys already had hearings, and now you're gonna do slap on the wrist, but now they're having additional hearings." And like I said before, even Ted Cruz is leading the charge because he's been censored himself. And now that he's doing that, like I understand that he's looking towards it because he sees the social media giants as like kings, pretty much. Like they dictate.
Yeah, but what's kept them from doing it so far?
Well,
like,
it gives
why
them
haven't they
more
done it
accountability.
already?
I feel like they haven't done it already because now is the tipping point. Now is the tipping point of literally they're trying to remove the American first president and replace it with communism.
See, it's
So
just like
it's the tipping point now.
Yeah.
Now we're like, this wasn't even an issue before 2016, really.
Well, and I love how he said that because remember, we finally realized we all knew there's fake news out there. We already knew that, but we haven't seen this gratitude of fake news in this current last 4 years than previously. So same
I've
thing
never
like social
been
media
fact checked
giants
on social
and-
media.
You see?
But before now, I've never had like my stories flagged and all of this stuff before now. So I feel like now is the tipping point, and what they're afraid of, they're afraid of that social media has replaced the mainstream media for average Americans, right?
Yep.
Average Americans,
Got it.
It don't matter if the mainstream media, CNN, MSNBC, and fake all these ABCs, if they want to show the Hunter Biden laptop, because it's already viral on social media.
Absolutely.
That's why they're banning people from they banned the New York Post from even sharing the story.
Right.
So you don't got to turn on the TV anymore. You can just open up your phone and you can get the news from people like us sharing stuff.
And that's why they're censoring, because
Exactly.
they're all in the same boat together, including
But
power.
they can't
including
stop
power.
it. But they can't stop the like social media viral platform that's out there already, right? That's all it takes. Like it can go from me to somebody in another country just with the click of a
Absolutely.
share.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So the world is watching this.
Yeah, they
the
are.
world is watching
They are.
this.
And you know what? I like how now that he's been talking about 230, actually pardoning General Flynn, right?
yeah.
Giving him
yes.
a full pardon.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well deserved too,
Yes.
because a lot of people don't know that he was actually part of the Obama administration and actually got into it with the Syrian and Libyan war when they're overthrowing Gaddafi. Now he gets to become the national security advisor for Trump, but then they attack him because they can't have him in because he knows where the bodies are buried. And now not only did he get punished, but now pardoned, and there's a good chance that in the next election cycle, he's probably going to serve. He might serve. We don't know that.
You think?
Let's go.
Maybe, possibly. And then now Trump is now actually looking to, the Trump administration is actually looking to reinstitutionalizing firing squads for federal execution.
Oh, I saw that.
You see what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
there's a lot of movement going on
Yeah.
with not only the Kraken being released, but now what are we going to do after we win?
Right.
And plus executive orders on mail-in voting fraud or like election fraud before this election happened. I think it was like in September
Okay,
or
so I got
October
a
or
question for
something.
you guys. You know, we always joke in those videos like so-and-so got wrecked or whatever. You know, they always say, oh, X, Y, and Z celebrity or politician beast mode.
Yeah, yeah,
And it shows
yeah.
like all the
Dragged.
crazy stuff that they do and everything. What would be beast mode of the last 2 weeks of a Donald Trump presidency, assuming it were stolen from him and he were on his way out? What would be beast mode?
On his way
'Cause
out if he didn't get
because
it?
the pardons always come the last week of the presidency.
Yeah.
You ever notice that? Like,
Yep,
like
always.
I think like Bill Clinton pardoned like 250 people or something absurd.
On his
like
way
that.
out, like,
Yeah, on his way out, it was some
See you
kind
later.
of absurd amount
You
of
know
people
what?
that he
It's-
pardoned.
That's an interesting question, but it's
Yeah.
hard for me to kind of pinpoint because I feel like literally he's been beast mode for the last 4 years.
Yeah, he's
Yeah, he
Everything
has.
this man
Yeah.
has
On the
done
grind,
is historic in beast mode.
I think he
Right.
graduated. I
the
think he
wall is
graduated right now.
like
Yeah.
the wall is
Got his
beast
cap and
mode.
gown for that.
Amy Coney Barrett is beast mode.
Yeah, yeah.
His prison reform is beast mode.
Yeah.
Like his treaty acts is beast
Right.
mode. Everything is beast mode with this man.
I know, but I mean, there's a lot at stake. I don't think any of us anticipate. Well, most of us didn't anticipate the Supreme Court getting to the election and all
Right.
that stuff.
Right.
And he's got all his marbles in one. He's rolling the dice right now, and he's playing at a high level. So I don't know. We might have to call it dragon energy at this point.
I would put my bet on Trump though.
Oh yeah, I would.
Oh yeah,
all day long.
100%.
If I had to roll the dice,
Yeah, Trump
I would
all
like
day,
to
baby.
see-
We got
I
that
would
Trump
like
card.
To see, as far as beast mode, I would like to see him implement some of the platinum plan things, as far as Antifa
yeah.
and the KKK being domestic terrorist
like
groups.
that.
I would love for him to do that.
That would
Just
be
go ahead and
great.
implement on his way out, and add BLM in there.
that would be
Throw it
great.
in there.
I don't know. I don't like that. I think we call too much stuff terrorism, and it's just it's
well,
state
what they're
crime.
doing.
If the police can't catch the KKK guy, they suck. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm sorry, but it's like if the dude with a hood on running down
why-
the street can't be caught, then like maybe we need to take more
Or
seriously.
how
just
about
defund the
the like
police thing.
slam dunk beast mode? The slam dunk beast mode would be to prosecute Hillary Clinton.
Oh my
that
God.
would be the best.
That would be sweet.
That would be the best. I would.
sorry.
Oh, that would
I'm
be
sorry, ladies and
fantastic.
gentlemen.
Indict her
Yes.
and get this going already.
I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes.
I'm gonna let you guys know right now. If that happens, I'm gonna set up a GoFundMe or
Yeah.
a PayPal. We're gonna throw a MAGA party.
Oh, yes,
Oh,
indeed.
yes.
I'm
Yes,
talking a
indeed.
mansion, everything, the
Yes,
whole
sir.
nine. If that happens.
Oh, that would be fantastic.
Oh man, that's brutal. And see, you know what's crazy is I'm totally torn on that. Andrew Yang said very eloquently that it's a hallmark of third world countries to jail the people that came before you. So it's like
Right.
I would feel really uncomfortable with the whole lock her up mentality. But man, some of these people
We need to set
over
us
the
an
past
example.
10 years, like we didn't prosecute a single soul for the 2008 crash.
Yeah.
We didn't prosecute a single soul for everything that was done during the Clinton administration
Yeah.
and all the crappy and shady crap she did.
Yep.
Like not even a slap on the wrist. Like at least give me the slap on the wrist.
Right.
Exactly.
You know what I'm
Someone
saying?
like we
Yeah.
need some
At
examples being
least
put
give me a
out.
strongly
Yeah.
worded letter, damn it.
Right. And it's a big difference between like trying to prosecute like your opponent because you won,
Right.
as opposed to like genuinely looking into crimes. Like that's
Yeah.
what they tried to impeach him on for quid pro quo when he was doing
Yeah.
his job.
Yeah.
That's a good
by
point.
having the investigation look into Joe Biden's
You
crime.
got it.
Yeah,
You got
if we're
it.
getting
Yeah.
rid of
You know?
Michael Flynn so badly
You
that
see?
he needs to be pardoned, then mother freaking Hunter better have a rap.
Oh, yeah, he better.
100%.
With that crack pipe.
You know what? Y'all
Man.
just reminded me of something right here with this narrative real fast, right? Okay.
Where's
Have
he
you
at?
guys noticed that not only is it Donald Trump that's under attack, like the media has like given leeway for his entire family to be on under like full assault.
Yeah.
When you got Hunter Biden with like pedophilia on his computer, crack pipe in his mouth, all type of crimes, and yet the major outlets won't run the story. Do you know that Vanity Fair just posted a whole op-ed from Ivanka Trump's ex-best friend?
Oh, I seen that. Yeah,
throwing mud at her, and the most she could say was how Ivanka was a brat in high school,
right? And she farted one time.
Yeah, she farted, and she always cared about money. And they gave this woman a whole like section to spew lies against the first. Against the first daughter.
Yeah, what's
for
the
no
media
reason
gonna do when if Biden steals the election? What are they going to do in a Biden presidency?
How are they going to treat him?
What?
Yeah.
I 100% believe that a lot of the media outlets are going to start crashing. Their ratings are going to tank because what people have been looking at is, okay, what is the latest thing that Trump did? Oh, I want to see what Trump did. Exactly. Oh, let's see him bash Trump. They're not going to have nothing
but
to talk
about. But are they going to report
it.
accurately on the Biden
not
administration? Or are they going to make it look like peaches and
rainbows?
rainbows?
Apologists. They'll be apologists.
They already called the Biden administration the Avengers. They already called them. Yes, they called them the Avengers.
You know, I was disgusted when I saw on the headline. It's like I've completely disavowed and owned all of these publications on the magazine. Time magazine put a senile looking, Crip Keep looking Joe Biden on there, half squinting with a cheesy,
look, he confused. He confused.
A denture-filled smile, and they say America's 46th president. It's time to heal.
Right.
And this is the man who you're saying is going to heal America.
And you know what?
I'm done.
I was at the barbershop, and there's this guy that always wants to talk about politics, but he don't know nothing about politics.
Of course, it's
he hates Trump. He hates Trump. And he always knows something.
Like old school, or is he young?
No.
Because a lot of old school people be wanting to talk.
Yeah. Don't know what daggone thing.
He's not too old. He's like in the 40s, right? But he old school.
Okay, that's old school.
So exactly. So he's just talking, right? And I always hear him, and I just I drop a little nuggets every once in a while, but I kind of keep on the low radar because they get real mad on this stuff.
And they have razors in their hands.
Exactly. I get good cuts. I don't want to find another barber. Shit. And so he's going on. CNN's on, and I'm just like, I even told him too. I'm like, why are you watching CNN, dude? Like I even told him like it's fake news. He's like, that's just what Trump says. I'm like, okay, whatever. So we're watching CNN, and obviously Biden has this little spiel, right? And the anchor goes, "Oh my goodness, it's like day and night." After he walks, right? That we've seen for the past 4 years, and he just goes and repeats it. Yeah, it has been day and night, and I'm like, brainwashing, alert,
NPC, beep boop beep beep boop beep. Freaking robot. That's all they do is repeat the same talking
we gotta
points.
go in.
You should have went in even harder though. Sorry, because
I know.
What is day and night is that we had a functioning president who can speak to the people coherently and deliver a message.
Yes. Yeah.
As now we see this coddled, deer in headlights. Yeah, it is a day and night.
Yeah,
it is. It is. It really is.
Yeah,
She's actually telling the truth. She's actually telling the truth.
She was telling the truth.
Dude, why don't we go to that barbershop and we all get our haircuts in like MAGA gear or something and just blow
Hey, no, guys. I will debate anybody on the streets, no problem. Put it on camera, send out to the four corners. But no, because I need my haircut. I need my haircut.
Yeah.
I'm not finding another barber. That's the hardest thing to do.
Baby, keep it baldy. You know what I'm saying? A little spit shine on that thing, boy.
No, dude, I think that would be awesome, dude. Like some of these barbershops are wild, dude. Like I lived up in Harlem, right?
Yeah.
And so
it gets live in the barbershop.
Oh, no,
yeah,
for real. And sometimes like they're definitely used to like their usual suspects and their usual crew. And if you just walk in, they're like, "Who the hell are you?
Yeah, man.
Are you
That's
lost?
True,
Are you looking for directions?" I'm like, "No, I want a haircut."
Where are you from? Where are you from?
You know
what I'm saying? Yeah.
It's very hard to find a new barber, by the way. So y'all better not walk up.
Okay.
I need my haircut.
Fine.
All right, dude. Fine. That's hilarious.
That's awesome.
So anyway, do you think we never went full circle? Do you think it's just saber rattling that Trump is saying for quote national security reasons we need to get rid of 230 protections?
I don't think so.
Do you think he'll actually do it, or do you think no?
I think so.
I think so too.
Yeah, but through what mechanism? Just some executive order?
Well, I mean, since we still have the House, right?
We
still have the House, right?
I'm pretty sure a lot of the lawsuits might
Senate.
play into play because people are suing these fact checkers. They're suing Twitter. They're suing. So
Candace Owens started her own fight against them.
That's right.
Yeah.
What is it called? Fact check Zuckerberg.
Yeah. So I feel like this could be like a class action lawsuit that can lean towards.
And then we have the White House obviously backing those lawsuits,
Truth.
Yeah, I guess it would have to be
with a conservative Supreme Court,
I was
right?
saying, hopefully it goes to the freaking Supreme Court because Amy Coney Barrett has already proven herself to be a little bit of a boss.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
and
saying?
imagine,
Gotta love it.
And imagine that getting to the Supreme Court with our court that we have now.
Oh my God.
You know, and it's saying, oh, well, it is
my
leaning
God.
towards censoring conservatives,
Right.
and
Dude,
you know, it's not
if
good to lean left or right.
Oh man.
Dude, if I were the lawyer that was presenting the case in the Supreme Court, I would literally say, here's my arguments, guys, that this is no longer a platform but a publisher. Justice Kavanaugh, here's 17 articles that said you were a gang rapist.
Yep. Oh,
Amy Coney Barrett.
yeah, you specifically. That is on the Supreme Court.
Here's an
Yeah.
article that
Yeah.
says your white supremacy drove you to adopt black children in order to civilize them.
Yes.
That was not fact-checked.
That's like
Right.
Clarence Thomas.
Exactly.
During the Kavanaugh trials, you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Wow, I
You
didn't even
were
think about
shown
this.
in loop on these 57 different videos out of context saying this. And here are 27 pro-Anita Hill articles that never got fact-checked.
Yeah.
Yep.
Let's go.
Gorsuch. You know what I'm
Let's
saying?
Just go down the
right
line.
down
Just go down the line.
Boom, boom,
You know what I'm
knock him
saying?
out. Yeah.
And then
down
you'd
the
have
list.
all the
Yeah.
Republicans like, you know, fuming, okay? And then I'd start going through and saying, Sotomayor. You know what I'm saying? Nothing.
Exactly.
You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying?
Exactly.
Or just pull up something heinous that gets her really offended too.
Yeah.
You know, just get them all thinking
Triggered.
that it's just
And
bad.
then they're all just mad, going back about all the stuff they had to go through previously, and it's just rolling in their head, like
Right.
just with anger, like, oh.
Yes.
Really? And then what do you want? Do you
These
want them to be
people
fact
are
checked? Do you
crazy.
want them to have accountability because they didn't have accountability with you?
Right.
What if they had accountability with you? Would you
Right.
like to that? Would you like to actually have a fair shot, fair chance to getting your name and your treasure smeared all over because of political reasons?
Come on now.
Because you're on politically on the wrong side.
Right.
Hey, that's what I'm saying. I think he'll do it because now that he's got the setup, he's got the Supreme Court.
Yeah.
Once he has a second term, he doesn't have to worry about re-election.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he's going to have all this evidence of voter fraud. And
go.
at this point, once he gets in, it's ready to go. Right? Because at the same time, we need what do you call it? A First Amendment on a digital platform.
Yeah.
Just like, and have them accountable, held accountable, just like news organizations.
Of
do.
course.
Yeah, do you remember all those amendments and those constitutional protections that we had over our freedoms? Let's talk about those other constitutional freedoms that are totally getting infringed on that I don't understand. And we're going to have to pull in Cody here to get this.
The like freedom to assemble and
Are
freedom
we
of
criminals
religion.
now for like recording this show?
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because of COVID.
Rebel,
COVID.
baby. You know what I'm saying?
No,
With a
speaking
new
of like
punk rock, baby.
No,
It's
because
gotten
there
so
are
crazy.
these lockdowns now, dude. What are they?
Talking
Well,
about
let me
LA
tell you-
County is starting a new Safer at Home. It starts on Monday, I believe. So not yet, but under the new Safer at Home orders,
Oh,
I
man, we ain't
believe
criminals yet.
Bullshit.
all gatherings are banned, public and private. So
But you,
Starting Monday.
But what's
Starting
crazy
Monday.
also is that a lot of these blue checks came out on Twitter and was calling Amy Coney Barrett, Amy COVID Barrett, and saying this is how I'll forever refer to her now because she sided with the 5-4 ruling in the Supreme Court to allow people to worship in church. Right. But where are all these same blue checkers when Cuomo actually killed all those people by putting them in a nursing home?
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
They were okay
Yeah.
with that, but you're trying to literally stop people from going to church.
Yes.
Yeah, did you
yes.
know
Yeah, I actually
over
went on a rant
half
about
of
that.
the COVID
Yes,
contracted in the
Yes.
past year was at large mass gatherings?
Uh-huh.
And I'm sorry, there weren't enough Trump rallies to put up all those numbers, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, when it started coming out, actually, a lot of the numbers showed that a lot of them came from nursing homes
Yes,
in
yes.
blue states like New York,
New York,
California,
New Jersey.
and, that specifically sent COVID patients to nursing homes.
got
it.
So actually, if you think
Literally.
about it, most of the deaths are on governor's hands.
It was
Right.
government sanctioned.
Yes.
I actually went on a rant about it, and I was very
Yeah.
angry because no one really talked about this. And now they talk about it a little bit now. But when it first happened, I was like, why are they purposely sending COVID patients that's
Yeah.
positive
Elderly
to the
back
place
into the- yeah.
that most people will die from
Right.
if you get,
The
like,
most
it's
susceptible.
intentional at
New
that
York
point.
is completely crazy.
Call it
And
out.
that's why I can't stand what everyone's giving Cuomo rounds of applause and laudits and all this.
He
type
got
of
an
stuff.
Emmy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
When he
wrote
brought
that book,
An Emmy.
You know,
But he sent COVID
I'm done.
patients.
I'm completely
COVID
done.
patients to nursing homes.
Yes.
Wait,
And-
but literally,
everyone's
why
giving-
did they give him an Emmy? I'm still confused.
Dude, for the same reason
For his
Barack
speech,
Obama
it's
got a Nobel
got
Peace
him
Thank
a-
you.
For
just
nothing.
for existing.
Just for
Just for
existing.
existing.
You know what? You did a good
Literally.
job. We wanted you to do exactly what you did.
Right.
Lock it down, stay locked down,
Right.
even
So
send
that's a
patients to
Emmy now?
nursing homes.
That's
You
Emmy.
killed grandma, you killed grandpa.
Yeah.
We love you. Here's an award.
Yeah. But we're the ones killing grandma and grandpa.
So is
when
he
we
gonna
go
get
to
an
these
Oscar
rallies.
now? Correct me
Oh,
if
of
I'm
course,
wrong,
you
but I
better
thought
believe
the
it.
Emmy was
He's
for
gonna
like
get Nobel Peace
television
too.
and arts. Like
That's how it goes.
Yeah, they said one of the reasons was because he was on television giving live updates on his state and led by example.
So they're gonna get like Don Lemon a Emmy now too. Or something?
Yeah, exactly. And I'm thinking myself,
Okay.
I'm like, isn't that what a governor's supposed to do?
Right.
Hey, by the way, why don't we start like hashtag Emmy's so white?
Emmy so
Let's get that going again.
Emmy so white. Emmy so corrupt.
Yes.
Emmy so backwards.
Yes.
Like,
Emmy so leftist.
yeah, it
Well,
don't
and
even
the
matter
goodness.
anymore.
So the weird thing about all of these freaking coronavirus lockdowns now is, Cody, what was the wording? It was like, okay, so any mass gathering you can't do.
It should be
except
pulled
for
up there. It
protests.
should be pulled up.
Oh
for a
yeah,
look at it.
can't forget
Yeah,
that.
for
BLM
Oh,
and
yeah.
Antifa.
Yeah, they can go and do
You
what
guys
they
are still
do.
good. You
I'm
guys
gonna
are
try and
still
pull it
good.
up.
All
Or if
right.
you go to Costco
Keep doing
or
what you're doing.
Walmart,
Yeah.
then that's okay.
Yeah, of course.
Thanksgiving, you can't be
Right.
with 3 people or more. You know what? It's very funny that people just so happen to just give up their constitutional rights. And when I say constitutional rights, I don't mean by the state. I mean by God. That's what the whole declaration is. It's by God. And you
Human
really want to
rights.
throw it away because of a virus that literally has 99% survivable rate. And then you want to take a vaccine that has a 90% health effect. So why even take the vaccine in the first place when you have 90% survival rate on the thing? And you're literally giving up your God-given rights over the
Well, the
stupid virus
fear-mongering.
and actually doing it when people back in the day actually had a pair of balls, actually
Yes,
walked
they
through
did.
the snow with no shoes on,
Big old
with
brass
big old
ones.
muskets.
Yes.
And we're sitting here as weak, degenerate Americans taking this up the ass.
Right.
This vaccine
Right.
is crazy.
We literally-
It's ridiculous. I mean, it's like a birdie in a cage. It's like a birdie in a cage looking at all the birdies, fly free, and they're like, oh my gosh, what is wrong with them? How stupid can you be? I'm safe. I'm safe in my little cage.
Yeah.
Well, how dare you? Look at these stupid little birds walking, flying around free.
And,
you know what I'm saying?
and
It's
you know what? I actually
ridiculous.
said this the other day. I'm going to say it again because I said it and it was perspective, right? Like you said, you like to talk about perspectives.
Yeah.
I'm literally watching CNN talking about, it's spike cases are going up and and it's like so daunting. And I'm thinking like, okay, what about the average person that actually sits home, does not go outside, and
Thank
literally
you.
watches
I don't
it?
even
Okay,
believe them
that's
anymore.
one
It's like-
person, right?
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
right. And they're literally, because I just showed you that in the barbershop at CNN, they're literally watching it, right? Newport, airports, everything, whatever.
Sheeple.
Hotels, and then they're watching. Okay, that's one perspective.
Yeah.
And think about us. We're literally out there in the streets more and more with no mask, with events, 2 to 3 events a day,
got
right?
it.
We're literally going out more than what we previously did
got
because we want to help save the country, right?
Yeah.
And then
Man.
have we got one person with COVID?
No.
Have you
No.
met somebody with that got
No.
COVID? So mean to tell me that those people out there that are staying home, that are on CNN, right, in this world perspective,
Right.
and then we're literally on the opposite end, don't even see the COVID, right? It's nowhere to be found. We're
Right.
out more than that. Look at those two worlds.
And by the way,
Look at those
I
two
had a great
perspectives.
Thanksgiving with at least 10 different households.
Let's go. You
And we all
understand me?
had fun.
You understand me?
Dogs and everything was there.
We don't subscribe. We do not
Hey,
subscribe.
that's how you
to
do it.
fear.
That's how you do it.
And that's the thing about us. We don't subscribe to fear, and that's what's so. It's so frustrating watching the left. They're constantly subscribing to this fear porn, and they constantly trying to peddle it. You see the news; they peddle it on a consistent basis.
Yeah.
They're constantly saying, "Hey, you're going to go out there, you're going to kill grandma, you're going to go out here, you're going to do this, you're going to spread the virus. Oh my gosh, you're killing everybody." And then we're going out there. We're like, "No, I'm fine. You're fine. You're fine. Everyone's fine. What are you talking about?"
See?
I'm so sick of the
You know
narrative.
what?
The
I just
narrative doesn't
had-
fit reality.
Like, I just had a few people tell me, we was like loosely conversing about the vaccine, and I was like, you gonna take it? Are you gonna take the vaccine? I had people tell me literally, if Biden and Harris says it's okay,
I'm
Then yes.
done. I'm done.
literally,
I'm
if
done.
Biden and Harris says it's okay,
See?
then yes.
Mommy and daddy.
Like, this is what
Mommy
happens
and
when you
daddy.
don't have God in your life.
I didn't even have a
Like,
response.
like-
I promise y'all, I didn't even have a response. I was just
Mommy
like,
and daddy.
oh, okay. and
Mommy
I
and
just
daddy.
left it alone. I'm not even going to finish conversing with that
You
conversation.
can't talk to people like that.
Hey, I did the same thing with some brother. He was walking up to me. How you black and you voting for Trump? And I was like, how you black and voting for
voting
Biden?
for Biden.
And he goes, and we were talking about it. And then we went to Antifa, and he's like, I was like, well, what
How
about
are you black and a Democrat?
And he goes, exactly, bruh. But and then he goes, well, Antifa's just an idea. And literally the talking point for Biden. And I said, I can't talk to you. I can't talk to you.
Yeah.
I
Well,
can't
the
talk to
low
you.
information voter is becoming a serious problem. in the
Yeah,
United
it's actually
States of
hurting America, to be honest with
Yes.
you.
It's like, and I think this is why I've never worried. If Donald Trump does have this election stolen from him, I kind of think it might be a blessing in disguise.
I think so,
for
too.
But it might be
America.
too late, though. Like, what if it's
that's a good
No,
point.
because he
That's a good
broke
point.
the media.
Right.
Like, how many people, like the most physically fit man I ever knew in my life was my PE teacher at freaking Arroyo Seco Junior High, Mr. Olson. And the dude was ripped, cut up, and was a lean, mean fight machine with an attitude, all right? And he got that way because of cancer.
Oh.
Like, he used to eat
I see
a
where you're going with
ton,
it. Yeah.
And he used to, like, and how many
then
of
he
these
got
health
cancer.
nuts have you
That's
met in the
true.
gym? MAGA, you can speak to this.
Yeah.
That is
Half of
true.
these health nuts you met in the gym are there because they had a health scare.
Yeah.
There was a lump and they realized.
Yeah.
Or there was a
That's true.
spot in the
That is
MRI
very
and they
true.
realized.
or
you
they
know
had
what
high
I'm saying?
cholesterol, so now they want to just.
Oh yeah, they
Yeah.
almost died
Some type
because of
of
a heart attack.
life-altering event.
And so now they're doing cardio every day.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? I literally think Trump broke the media. He broke
Now
it.
that's true, and I feel
Yeah.
like in that same
That's
analogy.
good.
But what
Yeah.
if in that? Okay, but what if in the next 4 years of this could be a blessing in disguise? What if it goes to the extent of like the what was that thing? The documentary where the guy ate McDonald's every day?
supersized.
Supersized. But
Yeah.
what if it's a supersized diet for 4 years? Like you can't come back
No,
from
but
that.
nobody's listening
Yeah.
to the media
It's like-
anymore. Did
See,
you
that's
see Joe
the scary
Biden?
part, though.
Yeah, it's like that's the scary part, though.
yeah.
Dude, Joe Biden's Thanksgiving address, I think it got like less than 1,000
It got
people.
it got
Yes.
barely
Yeah.
like
Oh my
it got
God.
800 views.
Exactly.
800 views.
Thank you.
And this creepy man talked for 30 minutes straight. Barely, right? They probably edited it together or something. But how did
And
he
this
get
guy won
800
80 million
views?
votes, huh?
Thank you.
Okay.
Well, and so
Okay.
that's the thing. Like, that's why I kind of don't care. Like, I almost hope Donald Trump gets this stolen from him, so he's got a fire in his belly. Because if he ends up getting reelected, you know what I'm saying? Sure, I think he'll do great things and everything like that. But as long as we can just stop Biden's nonsense and the squad doesn't take over, America with divided government is always better than America with unified government. You know what I'm saying? So if he, as his young self, goes back into media and just starts pounding what is left. If he just goes
The 4 years after, right?
on-
You're saying the
Yeah,
4 years
'cause
after losing.
That might completely
because if he just
collapse
retires
America.
as a successful two-term president,
okay.
he's gonna be like, "Oh, I'm done. I'm gonna go golf," or else he might just die. Like, let's face it, he's in his 70s, right? So he's already living on borrowed time. Whereas if we can freaking straight
Not
up
really.
get him,
That's more like Biden.
Yeah,
You know
that's
what I'm
Biden.
saying?
Yeah,
'Cause, like,
Biden gonna die
Those
first.
he's not
is
living on
Biden.
borrowed time.
Sorry.
He straight up stole that.
Like
It's like Trump looks extremely healthy. Like the media keeps calling
Yeah, he
him
does.
morbidly obese.
Yeah.
This guy's 74 years old. He
He's
looks
like 6
barely
foot whatever.
59,
Yeah,
60.
he likes
yeah.
ice cream at the end of the night. Let him
Hey,
alone.
man.
At least he's
I
not
mean,
an alcoholic.
this-
Like he don't drink.
exactly.
You know what I
This
mean?
man looks
But see, I
extremely
get,
healthy.
By
I
the way,
get.
the BMI calculators say that I'm obese too, and I'm 6'5"
I'm morbidly
and a half.
obese.
Hey, so
You're morbidly
I'm
obese.
supposed
yeah.
to be 241 or 246. I am 340. I am morbidly
Well, you know,
obese.
muscle weighs more than fat. Though.
Yes,
Yeah.
indeed. So I'm
Yeah.
going to change
A lot
that
of that
daggone
is-
chart. You better believe.
But
I'm
see,
a petition
I'm
that.
looking at both of you guys talking about this, and I get where you guys are both coming from because I agree that our country cannot survive another 4
It
years
can't.
of this agenda. But I also agree with you because you know what? If Trump does
sides.
lose, it will create the biggest because we've already seen the biggest movement in the last 4 years.
yeah.
And you know they talk about the left is always violent, and we're not.
Right.
But if they end up stealing it in front of God and country,
It might completely
the
collapse
people will wake up on a large scale that you've never seen before in your life. We've already woken up on the movement here for the past 4 years. Imagine if it gets stolen and people actually see this facts and information like we're talking about now, and then they actually really do it.
We'll
and
just
Trump
be-
actually really goes.
We'll just
I've
be
talked to
watching
people.
a train wreck.
No, no, no. I've talked to people. And I'm not going to say it on air.
Yeah.
But people are fed up.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
They're on the
yeah,
breaking
yeah.
point. And you're going to take this election from us?
Yeah.
The-
Well, that's the problem I have is I think that people will lose faith in the institutions.
Yeah.
And
That's what I'm saying.
That's
It's gonna
my
collapse
issue.
the
It's
institution.
going to collapse it. You already see. I mean, you're talking about 70+ million people that's going to lose faith in the institutions of voting, and you also got other people, independents, who are looking at the situation like, wait a minute, this is not making
They're like,
sense
levees are gonna
whatsoever.
and people that actually are smart on the left, too.
Exactly.
That's what
The
I'm
That's
honest
saying.
the
one.
thing,
That's
though.
what I'm
I
saying.
keep saying, though, like, I feel like, okay, our bodies can survive a 30-day supersize
Yeah.
me. It can't survive a
4
4-year
years, nah,
supersize
nah,
me. Like,
nah.
you can't, like, survive that.
No.
And I
Especially
don't think
Biden's
America,
administration.
thank you, like,
Yeah,
already
nah.
what he's, first of all, we don't even know what he wants to implement. We have an idea,
Yeah.
right? But for them to be in control
For 4
and then
years.
it'll imagine what it will change with our relationship with China, our relationship with Mexico.
Yep.
They
Right.
literally are just
Yep.
talking about bringing in 600,000 new immigrants.
Yes.
Like,
yeah.
isn't that
On
the
top-
opposite of what you would want to do during a international pandemic.
Come on
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
I mean, yeah.
The border
No,
state.
plan-
the border
no, you
state
got it
open.
right, brother. You got it right.
I promise you, like that was a Freudian slip. I didn't even try to say that.
Yo, you said that correct.
Don't correct yourself. Don't correct yourself.
Pandemic, right?
Don't you dare go back on your word, brother.
It's a pandemic.
Literally, and you already want to bring in all these more
hey,
immigrants.
It's a very good point because a lot of people don't understand that the border's still open
Yeah.
on a
And
pandemic.
it's still porous. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Like, if it's really that case, everything should be shut down.
Let's go.
Sanctuary cities done.
Yeah.
And by the
Done.
way, you know what I've been saying all week to all these people that are talking about Joe Biden? I said, you know what? You guys literally replaced the guy that put kids in cages with the dude who built the cages.
Yeah, and you know what? And you know what? A lot of people don't understand that he literally got into office and went the first year. It came out and he reversed it. He was just like, oh, I didn't know this was going on. Like he just ran it for a year.
When they say, what do you think about the
They're
Biden
crazy.
election? And they don't know like my political leanings, I say, America just chose to take the guy who put kids in cages and replace him with the other guy who built the freaking cages. You know? And they're like, oh shoot, I never thought of it like that. And I'm like, yeah.
But they still aren't holding Joe Biden responsible for nothing, right? He literally just was at a some kind of press conference, and he was sitting down, and a reporter asked him, what does he think about the schools being closed still and working with the teachers unions to get children back in school. Literally, he looks up, aren't you that guy that's always yelling out questions, man? And then immediately his handlers rushes everybody's out.
Yeah.
It's like, you can't even answer a question about opening schools
There
now.
you go.
It's like,
There you go.
what is going on? And his support base, are you okay with that? Literally, everybody who voted for Biden, are you okay watching the man that you vote for act like this on the national stage?
Well, you got
this is
low,
embarrassing.
You got low information voters.
Don't you want a refund?
I would. I mean, you have low information voters, voting for a low information president, or my bad, vice president.
A low interrupt.
That was a good correction. That was a good correction.
Yeah, now that's a good correction.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
I used to always say that it's so important to go vote. Go vote. Your vote matters, and I do believe that. I truly do.
Yeah.
But this election, some people shouldn't vote.
Yes.
Literally.
Yes.
Like, I don't want to take
Some
someone's
people
like
are
free
just
right,
unequipped
but I'm
to
like
vote.
trying to keep
I wanna
100,
take them. I
and
wanna
I'm
take
like,
that free right.
and I'm like, we have to have like an IQ test before
Literally,
you vote or something.
Just existing
Or
for
maybe
18
not an
years
IQ
is not
test
enough
because
to
that's
vote.
an immutable characteristic.
Yeah, I know.
But like,
I'm just being funny.
There has to be some kind of like
Metric or
Can you name
Yeah.
the three branches of government?
Yeah, exactly. Can you just do that?
How
Yeah.
does a law?
Right, you
make-
have to be informed.
If you can't sing along to Schoolhouse Rock,
Thank you. Because isn't it the same thing? It's like, why would you be a judge on Dancing with the Stars and you have zero background in dance?
Thank you.
Like, you have no
Thank
stake in
you.
this. Like, come on.
You
like,
gotta have skin in the
name
game,
me
baby.
three styles of dance, and you but yet you're gonna dance, but yet you're gonna judge a full routine.
Yeah,
You see what I'm saying?
And we're not saying that you cannot vote. Like, obviously, you have a right. But we're putting it in perspective of saying,
Yes.
you know what? If
Be
you
informed.
can't name the three branches of government, if you can't name the Bill of Rights, the Constitution,
Right.
if you don't know what it says, you don't.
Or if you can't
stay
name
out
at
of-
least three policies of the candidates,
Yeah.
and you're just
Right.
saying, well, she's a woman.
Like,
well,
stay-
well,
yeah.
well,
he's black. Yeah, he's black. Obama, he's
I
black.
can't stand that.
First black president, first woman president, like Hillary Clinton. Like, at this point, literally, if you don't know anything about politics at this point, and we're in this critical juncture,
Right.
get out of our lane.
Please.
Get out of our lane. Just
And
like with
to
Cardi
suggest
B,
that we
right?
should have a
Right.
president.
It's like Cardi B.
Mail-in ballots
Yes.
are so important because they knew that the low information voter was so prevalent that unless we literally put the ballots in their laps,
they would
Yeah.
do
and
it.
then have our
that they wouldn't go
volunteers
out.
Yeah.
from Planned
Yeah,
Parenthood,
that's
have our
good.
volunteers
That's good.
from the
And all the
unions,
identity
Yeah.
have our
voters.
yeah, exactly. That was
That's
the
it.
only way they could win the election. So the question is, without another pandemic, how do they win an election? If there's not millions of votes sent out in Pennsylvania, because think how many people and how many of those ballots wouldn't be eligible for fraud.
Right.
Think
right.
how many really wouldn't have voted because they're disinterested parties. How many people just voted because like some person came to their door and pressured them into it? Like we saw,
The
I know
convenience
people
of
don't
it.
like the Project Veritas videos, but at the end of the day, you saw a woman who was getting paid to cure ballots and to pressure old people into writing into voting for the correct candidate.
Right.
Might have been an isolated incident. She might have only gotten away with a couple hundred and a couple of thousand, which isn't the problem here. But it's demonstrative of the vulnerability of a mail-in ballot system.
Because what about all the people that didn't even register to vote?
Yeah.
Or what about some of the people who aren't even citizens that were getting ballots?
I have a problem. I have a fundamental problem with this mail-in ballots. We need to go back to the old system of voter ID.
Yes.
On it.
In person, with ID
voting.
Racist!
You're disenfranchising people. You're disenfranchising all the black people.
Sorry.
Right. Oh, no. You just reminded me of a very good, of a major hypocrisy, right? When Stacey Abrams, right? Now, we can body shame that all day long, right? But Stacey Abrams, when she lost the election, she refused to concede, and she kept saying how it was stolen from her because they disenfranchised the black people in Atlanta and in Georgia, right? With like literally no proof. You just lost because nobody likes you or your policies.
Right.
And they didn't get in alignment with it.
And that's okay. And that was reported on. That was talked about. That was
the news stations
articles.
ran with that.
Yes.
The news stations was actually giving her credit.
That wasn't conspiracy. That wasn't conspiratorial at all.
Yeah, she was a rock star for a
because
solid 6 months.
because how could a big black woman not win?
Right. How could Big Mama not win?
In Georgia. Exactly.
How can Big Mama lose in Georgia? How does that work?
Mama lose.
But what are you talking about ID voting, right?
Yes.
The reason why they're not doing it is because the Democrats, if you look at the history of voter fraud, they're all Democrats.
Let's go.
Every time.
Let's go.
Dude, the head of the union down for the Teamsters, I know a guy whose dad was in charge of it, and he got beat within an inch of his life because he refused to stuff the ballot box.
Excuse
after they
me?
collected it back in the 70s.
Because he refused to cheat?
And it was bad here
You're dealing with criminals. Like,
yeah, that's a mob. That's a mob right there.
Criminal
That's a
enterprise.
mob right there.
They'll break your knees.
Shoot. Give me that insurance money.
I have another friend who was in charge of one of the local unions here, whose father was head of the union, and it was an arts union, and even assisted in the Carter administration. And after serving there, said, I could never vote Democrat again. It's just too corrupt. Like, they ask us to fill ballot boxes.
Literally.
Now,
I want to say this too, and it's not like, oh, the Democrats are all bad and evil and the Republicans
Yes,
are all
they
great. Yeah, exactly. But I'm saying in the context of history, the people that have always been cheating have been Democrats.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's that.
Like how you said, Trump broke the internet. I mean, broke the media. Trump broke.
Kim Kardashian broke the internet.
Give the queen her props.
Trump broke the media.
Donald Trump broke the media. Kim Kardashian broke the internet.
And I feel like normal people, Americans, broke the Democrats.
Yes.
Because we are exposing the Democrats.
100%.
Literally.
That's why I love what we do. When we come out here, we are spitting so much truth and facts, and I get so much just vitriol and hate from the Democrats. They're so triggered when they get on my page. They see all this type of stuff. And that's the thing I love about it.
And you're not seeing Republicans leaving and going Democrat.
No.
You're seeing Democrats leaving and going to
Thank
Republicans.
you. There's a walkaway campaign when it comes from Democrats going to Republicans for a reason.
There's no campaigns that say exit the Republicans.
Exactly.
No.
But we got Lexit, Blexit.
Come on.
Exit.
The Asian exit. Yep.
All kinds of exits.
Come on.
All
We
kinds of
even got the Brexit out there in Britain.
You see what I'm saying?
I mean, international now.
Come on now. We international
I've
now.
been telling people, don't walk away, run.
Oh, yeah. Runaway slave. You understand?
As if your life matters, because it does.
Kunta Kinte. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? You better get on
Run.
out of here. Yes,
He
indeed.
said don't walk away.
Because you got a lot of these celebrities that are trying to capture you.
Oh,
and
100%.
trying to keep you.
You got
You know.
you're sending the hounds on, and the hounds are the freaking Democrat voters. You know what I'm saying? Trying to come after you, disparage you, tear you down, talk that. All they do is talk about you.
If you notice, a lot of these celebrities and blue checkers that were so vocal in the past month, they're quiet now.
Oh, they are.
On
They
their
are.
social
They
media.
are harsh.
Because they don't want to say anything too premature because all this is starting to come out.
They know
Everybody's
it was
trying
stolen. Too.
Yes.
Yeah, they do.
They do. You have to know. You
they
have
know.
to know. You know, you're talking about these people, like you said, they've been very vocal up until now. Who we were just talking about earlier, Nancy Pelosi, we haven't heard of.
Yeah, she's been
Where's she
quiet
at?
as a
Nigga,
church mouse.
Where's she at?
You know what I'm saying?
Eating her ice cream somewhere.
You know?
Just
that
like
organic
her
good
gelato.
one.
Just like waiting
Getting
for
her
the
hair
dust to
did.
settle.
Yeah,
Getting her hair did
in the salon,
from
you know?
some salon girl.
Yes, indeed.
At her
probably
house
shaking
talking about, I
scared.
got caught once, I get caught twice.
Talking about
come to my
she got
house.
set up.
She's
Come
probably
on.
nervous that her name is going to come up in some German dossier or some Venezuelan dossier with this whole Dominion thing. She's scared as
People are
hell.
being
And
implicated.
you were talking about previously that how come all these systems are in foreign lands?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Like they didn't even realize. I just saw a report from 2006 when CNN kind of did real journalism and real news, right? And they were saying
what they
that
actually did real journalism
back in
back
the
day.
Freaking believable.
and they were talking about the 2005 primaries in Chicago that the system was bought a year ago by a Venezuelan, private Venezuelan like businessman, and you had 12 Venezuelan owners of this company there at the polls, like teaching these American poll workers how to like run the system. When these are Venezuelan businessmen.
Yeah, they
Those
know how to
guys
run
elections.
They really no, they know the run elections all right. Yo.
And I'm like, how did this even how was that legally accepted for foreign businessmen to have a personal interest?
I'm going to tell you why. It's because for the past decades, we've had that two-system duopoly, right? And they all knew that as long as it was out and open, it could benefit both the left and right when it comes to elections, right? To getting reelected. But see, now we're seeing it now because someone that was an outsider came in and said, wow, look at this. There's actual voter fraud. There's actually softwares out in foreign countries. This is a problem. Well, the Republicans like Bush didn't say that. The Democrats like Clinton didn't say
they were
that.
all getting their bats scratched too.
Well, actually, you know, when you look at the Dominion software and all that, Amy Klobuchar and what was the Pocahontas? What?
Elizabeth Warren.
They spoke out against the Dominion software back in the day. And now all of a sudden they're all Hirsch when it comes to them benefiting now when it comes to this election.
That's
so
what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. It's
I'm
just
sick
like
of this.
having social media giants out there that are on your side over there in other countries having their own immunity per se. It's great for them because they're left leaning. Once when it's someone that comes inside and it's like, wow, they really have control and power like this. But they're anti this way or anti that way. It's like, no, we have to give truth to power.
Well, this is why I think though that really it doesn't matter even if Donald Trump gets reelected, because the real enemy of American values and the system has been a media that's been a propaganda arm for the Democrats, masquerading as central, middle of the road moderate.
Come on now.
Yeah.
And Donald Trump broke that.
They're not even masquerading no more, right? It's
No, not anymore.
Flat
The
out.
mask is off.
Because they've been broken.
They're like, you don't get this socialist agenda. You don't get this smoke.
No, guys, they threw their Hail Mary.
Yeah, they did.
This last 2 years was their Hail Mary.
That's the Hail Mary.
And they
Yes, it
literally
is.
said, I'll use my grandfather as an example. May he rest in peace. My grandfather was World Series of Poker champion and chess master for the state of Utah. All right? Not your normal Mormon. Like,
All right.
He goes big. He's,
you know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Go big or go home.
To the day he died, he was not allowed in 14 of the hotels and casinos on the Strip. He was blacklisted.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? Because he took them for
Taking
too much
all their
money.
money.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
man.
Yeah, and he would like go in there and he'd shark it. Like a total stud, right? Well, anyway, he was teaching me how to play chess one day, and he sat down. And he's like, "Hey, Cardi, I'll play you in chess here." And this guy used to play against the most advanced AI chess board with no pieces. He would just press. Like he would play the game just having memorized.
Okay, this
all
sounds
the
like a
stuff.
genius.
The guy, he was a genius, dude.
Wow.
So anyway,
Cerebral
when
with
he
it.
taught me how to play chess, he said it all boils down to three things: the guy that controls the middle, yada yada, this that. I won't give you too many details because it's not a chess expose. But
And you don't want to lose.
yeah, you don't wanna lose.
Give away all the
But I
secrets.
remember there was a time where I just kind of started sacrificing my pawn for his pawn, and then I saw I had a chance to kill his bishop, but then I'd kill my bishop. And he looks at it and he says, "Oh, so you're going to play it like that, where you just sacrifice all your pieces?" And he says, "The guy who always does that always loses."
Who sacrifices all
You know
the
what I'm
people.
saying? He says, the guy that sacrifices his pieces always loses. And so
I got to change up my game.
the
You know what I'm
media...
saying?
Yeah,
Whoops.
I got an angle
Learn
on
me
that one.
something today.
Those
I got
pawns
it,
are
my angle.
valuable. Yeah, those
Well,
pawns are valuable.
the media sacrificed their credibility. A news organization
That's true.
depends on its credibility.
That's so true.
And
Wow.
they hated Donald Trump so badly
That they
that
put
was
it
their
back.
chess match.
Oh,
So for
that's
2
good.
years they succeeded.
Yeah.
They got
That's
the
good.
ratings, they got the money,
But when
they
he
got
leaves
their guy
and-
in. But when he leaves, they have nothing to talk about. And by the way, they turned off all their listeners.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Half
Even
their
Fox
listeners-
News people are
Dude,
leaving Fox
CNN
News.
Yeah.
is worth no money now. It was
Oh,
going
yeah,
to be
right.
bought up by
Right.
a Canadian cartoon
Yes.
company.
Really?
Vice News is worth nothing now.
Whoa.
Disney declared a loss on Vice News, or they valued it at zero. It was something horrible. The company that used to be a $40 million asset is valued at zero. The Huffington Post
That's
has
good.
never paid back a dime of all of its venture capitalist money.
We should
I mean,
bankrupt these people.
Yes.
Like, for
They're
real.
bankrupting themselves.
Yeah.
no, well, what's bankrupting them is they did the kamikaze run.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They decided
hit
we will
anything.
sacrifice our credibility in our Hail Mary throw
yeah.
to get rid of that guy they hate.
Right.
The only problem is you lose your position as the third-party speaker of truth.
Now you're
You know
not
what I'm
respected
saying?
anymore.
So anyway, that's gone now.
Yeah.
And so now all of a sudden we're not competing against the legacy media because what is the legacy media? Gen Z's not listening.
No.
Millennials cut the cord 3 months ago, 6
Exactly.
months ago.
Oh, longer
Oh, you
before
got the
that, we had
boomers.
social media. Longer
Well,
than
and now
that.
you're going to have a bunch of empowered people that are going to start running for office
Yeah.
because they're not worried about cancel culture. Because now, so what if I get a headline on CNN? Who watches that?
Yeah.
Carter on fire right now.
Yeah,
boy.
I know, man.
That's
Steve-
interesting.
Hey, let me fan this guy.
Yeah,
That is interesting, though.
Actually, we should probably end right there.
So is that going to lead into a rebirth of like new established media with credible journalism again, or is it never going to be the same?
No, it's going to be. Watch the last episode of the Rubin Report with Megyn Kelly. Megyn Kelly, she's very respected journalist. She is the one that the person that blew the whistle, Tara Reid, that blew the whistle against Joe Biden.
Well, her
Finally
She's
career.
the only one that
story.
she felt comfortable with that was middle of the road enough, right?
Well, her career did tank on when she went on with Alex Jones. When she tried to take on Alex Jones and got him recorded saying that he wasn't going to be a hit piece, recorded that it wasn't going to be a hit piece, then turned around and it was a hit piece. All of a sudden, she was gone from Fox News. She was gone from.
Yeah, well,
I thought they got
regardless
rid of
of
her on Fox because of that. She said blackface wasn't a big deal back.
Oh
in
yeah,
her
that,
day.
and then she went to I think MSNBC.
Yeah, they got rid of her.
And then she went to
She went to
MSNBC,
MSNBC,
and
yeah.
then that's when she did that with MSNBC,
Okay, well,
and
either
then
way,
she's not there at all.
I'm answering Lucas's question, and Lucas's question is, what are we going to go back to if we don't have this like trusted media? Because in
Right.
1978,
Yeah, that's
the
true.
most trusted man in America was Walter Cronkite.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, who was a member of CBS Broadcast News. Well, Megyn Kelly brought up a really interesting point. She said, you want to know what? I think mainstream media is just going to go away, and we're going to go back to the way media and news was in the late 1800s and early 20th century, when if you had an axe to grind or an agenda to push, you started a newspaper. There were communist newspapers.
Yeah.
There were abolitionist newspapers.
you.
There
That's
was
true.
the Nauvoo Expositor, the anti-Joseph Smith newspaper in Nauvoo, and the public
bunch of
service that you
independent-
provided as
That's
part
how
of
black
your party.
newspapers started too, because black
Yeah.
people, we had issues and voices to concern. So you had some of the oldest papers, like the I don't know, the one in Chicago, I forget the name of it. I forget the name
It's
of it.
called
But
I think-
papers like that though, I see what you're saying. It's like when you had something to say, a
go
grievance
out there
or
and say
something,
it.
you created.
And
a
what do we
platform for
have
your
on
voice.
YouTube now? Like
I
our
was just about to say
newspaper
that.
is
I was
legit.
just about to say that.
You
That-
know?
that at the end of the day, they are falling, and things like this, platforms like
Right.
this,
This
are
is
going to
the
go
news.
up because again, later on down the road, You Ain't Black is going to be a lot more credible than CNN.
You better believe it. And they're going to want to tune into us more than us.
The Defender is the name.
hey, that was his Hail Mary at fourth quarter.
Threw it to himself.
80-yard throw. Like, wait a minute, I got it.
All right, what's the name of our show? What's the name of our show, guys?
You Ain't Black.
You ain't black.
And you ain't black.
Oh, no.